February 19th, 2026. A quiet afternoon in Los Angeles. In a room filled with the people who mattered most, Eric Dane takes his final breath. He's 53 years old. His wife Rebecca holds one hand. His teenage daughters, Billie and Georgia, hold the other. This is the end. But to understand how we got here, we need to go back to the beginning. The world knew Eric Dane as McSteamy, the impossibly charming plastic surgeon from Grey's Anatomy, whose shirtless towel scene broke the internet in 2006 and became one of the most iconic moments in television history. For years, that's all he was to millions of people. The doctor, the heartthrob, the fantasy. But his final year revealed something else entirely. A man who turned a terminal diagnosis into a mission. A father racing against time, terrified of leaving his daughters the same way his own father left him. An addict who fought his demons not in private, but in full view of the world. This is Eric Dane's real story. The rise that took 13 years. The fall that nearly destroyed him. The redemption that proved he was more than a towel scene. And the final battle he fought knowing he couldn't win, but fighting anyway, because that's what it means to leave a legacy. This is Era Review, where we don't just remember celebrities, we tell the whole story. So let's tell it. Eric William Dane was born November 9, 1972 in San Francisco, California. His father, William Melvin Dane, was an architect and interior designer. His mother, Leah Cohn, raised Eric and his younger brother in the Jewish faith. From the outside, it looked like a normal American childhood. Little league, bar mitzvah, family dinners. Normal. Until it wasn't. When Eric was just 7 years old, his father died by suicide, a self-inflicted gunshot wound. The details of that day were never made public, and Eric rarely spoke about it. But imagine being 7 years old and losing your father in the most violent, sudden way possible. Eric's mother was left to raise two boys on her own, and Eric, whether he realized it then or not, grew up carrying the weight of that trauma. It would shape everything. The roles he chose, the addiction he battled. As a teenager, Eric threw himself into sports. He played varsity water polo in high school. Athletic, competitive, good-looking. But it wasn't until a school production of Arthur Miller's All My Sons that Eric discovered acting. He realized he could step into someone else's life and just for a moment, escape his own. After graduating from San Mateo High School in 1991, Eric made the decision that would change everything. He packed his bags and moved to Los Angeles. He was 21 years old. He had no money, no connections, no agent, no safety net, just belief. The early 1990s in Los Angeles were brutal for aspiring actors. For every person who made it, 10,000 didn't. Eric started at the bottom. His first credited role came in 1993, a guest spot on The Wonder Years. Then came small parts on Saved by the Bell, Roseanne, Married with Children, Silk Stockings, one-episode appearances, background work, lines that didn't matter, but Eric kept showing up, year after year, audition after audition, rejection after rejection. In 2000, he landed a recurring role on the medical drama Gideon's Crossing. Then from 2000 to 2002, he appeared on Charmed as Jason Dean. It was steady work. It was visible, but it wasn't stardom. Not yet. 13 years of this. And then 2006 happened. Eric Dane was cast in a guest role on ABC's Grey's Anatomy, a medical drama that was already a cultural juggernaut. He played Dr. Mark Sloan, a cocky, charismatic plastic surgeon and the best friend of Derek Shepherd, played by Patrick Dempsey. Mark Sloan was supposed to be a one-episode character, a plot device, a catalyst for drama between Derek and Meredith. But when Eric walked onto that set and delivered his lines with that perfect mix of charm, confidence, and just enough vulnerability, the audience went insane.
What about that jaw reconstruction you did using a microvascular free transfer from the foot?
You interested in plastics?
Absolutely.
Might want to consider a transfer to New York or Los Angeles. You're not going to see any heat up here.
The producers noticed. The ratings spiked, and in season 3, Eric Dane was promoted to series regular. Then came the scene that changed everything. Dr. Mark Sloan walks out of a bathroom, shirtless, dripping wet, wearing nothing but a strategically placed towel.
Oh, this is awkward.
Feel much better now.
The camera lingers. The music swells. McSteamy was born. That scene became one of the most iconic moments in television history. Memes everywhere. Posters on bedroom walls. Eric Dane became a fantasy for millions. The producers made him a series regular, and Eric appeared in 145 episodes across seasons 3 through 9. Suddenly he had global fame, wealth, recognition, a reported net worth of $7 million. 2 years earlier, in October 2004, Eric had married actress Rebecca Gayheart. She was known for her roles in Jawbreaker and in various TV appearances. They fell hard for each other. In February 2010, they welcomed their first daughter, Billie Beatrice Dane, and in September 2011, their second daughter, Georgia Geraldine Dane, was born. From the outside, they looked like the picture-perfect Hollywood couple. Eric often spoke about how fatherhood grounded him, how his daughters gave him purpose beyond acting. The struggle was over. Eric Dane had made it. He'd arrived. But behind the smiles and the red carpet photos, something else was happening. Something the world couldn't see yet. August 2009, a private video leaked online that would define Eric Dane for years. The footage showed Eric, his wife Rebecca, and former Miss Teen USA Kari Ann Panish in a hot tub at Panish's Los Angeles apartment, all three completely naked and clearly intoxicated. At one point, Rebecca can be heard saying she's so high. While there was no sexual activity in the video, the images were explicit enough to send the internet into a frenzy. TMZ broke the story first, and within hours, Gawker posted the full clip. The video had been stolen from Panish's computer hard drive, allegedly by her former roommate and fellow celebrity rehab star Mindy McCready. Eric and Rebecca immediately filed a lawsuit for copyright infringement against Gawker Media, and eventually settled for a reported six-figure sum. They released a statement calling it a private, consensual moment involving a married couple, shot several years ago, which was never intended to be seen by the public. But the damage was done. And even a decade later, it remained one of the first search results attached to Eric's name. Years later, in a 2019 interview with Glamour, Eric finally addressed the scandal without apology. 3 consenting adults, one of them being my wife, I wasn't doing anything wrong. He said, I didn't regret it. I have no regrets, nor do I make any apologies for my life experience. It's my life experience and I'm at peace with all of it. The video faded from the headlines, but it never fully disappeared. It became part of his story, a moment of vulnerability that he chose to own rather than run from. But here's what most fans didn't know. While millions were watching Eric Dane play the confident, charming Dr. McSteamy every week on Grey's Anatomy, he was secretly battling alcohol addiction. He'd been sober when he joined the show in 2006, but during the 2007-2008 Writers Guild of America strike, when production shut down and Eric suddenly had months of idle time on his hands, he relapsed. Hard. I am not good with a lot of time on my hands, Eric later admitted. The drinking came back, and it didn't stop. In a brutally honest 2024 appearance on the Armchair Expert with Dax Shepard podcast, Eric confessed, if you take the whole 8 years I was on Grey's Anatomy, I was f***ed up longer than I was sober. The fame overwhelmed him. The pressure, the expectations, the sudden global recognition. Eric couldn't handle it. It was overwhelming, and I think I just wanted to pretend that it wasn't, and that I was comfortable with it, he said. So he drank to cope, and when drinking wasn't enough, there were pills. The addiction continued for years, hidden behind the McSteamy smile that made him famous. In June 2011, Eric voluntarily checked into the Hills Treatment Center in Los Angeles for a 30-day program to treat prescription painkiller addiction. The official statement said he'd been prescribed the medications after a sports injury, and the 30-day program, while helpful, wasn't enough to break the cycle. The rehab stint helped temporarily. Eric went back to work on Grey's Anatomy, but he later admitted that his addiction was still active. His character, Dr. Mark Sloan, was killed off in season 9 following a devastating plane crash. I was struggling, Eric said years later. They didn't let me go because of that, although it definitely didn't help. By 2014, Eric had landed the lead role in TNT's action series The Last Ship, playing Captain Tom Chandler. The show ran from 2014 to 2018 and gave Eric a chance to prove he could carry a series. But in April 2017, production was abruptly halted. The reason? Eric was battling severe depression. He requested a break to deal with his mental health. In a 2017 interview with The Today Show, Eric opened up about how depression felt. That was a scary thing. When you wake up and you're like, I don't want to get out of bed, I don't want to do anything, I don't care about anything. The show gave him the time he needed. He sought treatment. He got help. And when production resumed several weeks later, he came back stronger. For the first time in years, Eric was taking his mental health seriously, but his marriage was falling apart. In February 2018, Rebecca Gayheart filed for divorce after 14 years of marriage, citing irreconcilable differences. She sought spousal support and joint legal and physical custody of their daughters, Billie and Georgia. They released a joint statement. After 14 years together, we have decided that ending our marriage is the best decision for our family. We will continue our friendship and work as a team to co-parent our two beautiful girls, as they are the most important thing in the world to us. They separated, lived apart, dated other people, but they never finalized the divorce. Something kept them connected. In 2019, Eric was cast as Cal Jacobs in HBO's Euphoria, a dark, unflinching drama about addiction, sexuality, identity, and trauma, starring Zendaya. This role was nothing like Dr. Mark Sloan. Cal Jacobs was a secretly bisexual father living a double life, closeted, ashamed, abusive, a man who filmed his sexual encounters without consent, a man terrified of being exposed, consumed by self-hatred and taking his pain out on his son Nate, played by Jacob Elordi. Eric connected deeply with Cal Jacobs through his own struggles. I've certainly had my struggles with alcoholism, drug addiction, mental health, and I know what it's like to have to put up a facade and have an external experience not match the internal experience, he told Glamour in 2019. Eric understood what it meant to pretend, to smile for the cameras while dying inside. Eric Dane had proven he was far more than the towel scene. He was a real actor capable of playing broken, complicated men without judgment. And then in March 2025, something unexpected happened. After 7 years of separation, Rebecca dismissed the divorce petition entirely. They didn't get back together in the traditional sense. They didn't move back in together or remarry. But the deep love between them had never disappeared. In his final interview, filmed in November 2025 for Netflix's famous Last Words, Eric tried to explain their bond. "Well, we still love each other deeply. I just don't think we want to live with each other," he said with a slight smile. "There's a lot of love there. I will never, by the time anybody sees this, would have ever fallen in love with another woman as deeply as I fell in love with Rebecca. They were something deeper that neither could fully explain, and when Eric needed someone most, Rebecca was there." Late 2023, Eric started noticing weakness in his right hand. At first he blamed it on texting too much. Carpal tunnel, maybe. Nothing serious, but the weakness didn't go away. It got worse. He dropped things, couldn't grip properly. He saw a hand specialist, who looked concerned and referred him to a neurologist. The neurologist ran tests and sent him to another neurologist. "This is way above my pay grade," the first one told him. Then in early 2024, he finally got the answer. Amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease. The average life expectancy following an ALS diagnosis is 3 to 5 years. Eric knew what was coming. He'd seen what ALS does to people. And he thought about his daughters. Billie was 14, Georgia was 12, the same age Eric had been when he lost his own father. The cycle he'd feared most was happening, and this time he was the one leaving. In April 2025, Eric made the choice to go public with his diagnosis. He could have hidden it, could have disappeared from the spotlight, and spent his remaining time in private. But that's not what Eric did. CBS News reported his public announcement, where he said, "It's on me the second I wake up. I'll never forget those 3 letters, ALS." Instead of hiding, Eric chose advocacy. By June 2025, Eric had completely lost the use of his right arm and hand, but he still traveled to Washington, D.C., with I Am ALS, to testify before Congress about the need for increased research funding and better access to treatment. Some of you may know me from TV shows, such as Grey's Anatomy, where I play a doctor, he told the assembled lawmakers. But I am here today to speak briefly as a patient battling ALS. Even as his body failed him, Eric kept working. That same month, he starred in Amazon Prime Video's crime series Countdown, which premiered in June 2025. He told reporters, "I'm going to ride this till the wheels fall off." In September 2025, the ALS network named Eric Dane the recipient of their Advocate of the Year award. Eric set an audacious goal: raise $1 billion for ALS research. Not to save himself, he knew it was too late for that, but to save the people who would come after him. In less than a year, Eric raised over $500,000 through interviews, appearances, and direct advocacy. He became the public face of ALS. By October 2025, Eric was in a wheelchair full-time. His speech had become slow and slurred, difficult to understand. In November 2025, Eric sat down for what would be his final interview. It was with Brad Falchuk, for Netflix's famous Last Words, a documentary series where people facing terminal illness reflect on their lives and leave messages for their loved ones. The episode aired on February 2026, one day after Eric died. In the final moments of the interview, Eric turned to the camera and spoke directly to his daughters. "Billie and Georgia, these words are for you," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "I tried. I stumbled sometimes, but I tried. Overall, we had a blast, didn't we?" He got choked up talking about their days at the beach together. "I see you now playing in the ocean for hours, my water babies. Those days, pun intended, were heaven." Fox News reported his final message to them. "Live in the moment, cherish every second, choose friends wisely, love deeply, and stand up for your beliefs. Good night, I love you." On February 19, 2026, at 53 years old, Eric Dane died at his home in Los Angeles. Rebecca Gayheart was there. So were his daughters, Billie and Georgia, holding their father's hands as he took his last breath. CNN reported the family's statement. "With heavy hearts, we share that Eric Dane passed on Thursday afternoon following a courageous battle with ALS. He spent his final days surrounded by dear friends, his devoted wife, and his two beautiful daughters, Billie and Georgia, who were the center of his world. Throughout his journey with ALS, Eric became a passionate advocate for awareness and research, determined to make a difference for others facing the same fight. He will be deeply missed and lovingly remembered always." Eric Dane's life was defined by three distinct acts. The rise came after 13 years of struggling in Hollywood. He became McSteamy, a global icon with wealth, fame, and what looked like a picture-perfect family. But the fall was brutal and public. The 2009 video scandal that exploded across the internet, hidden alcohol addiction that raged through his entire Grey's Anatomy run, while millions watched him play a confident doctor. The 2011 rehab stint for painkillers that helped temporarily but didn't break the cycle. Getting written off the show in 2012 while still battling addiction. The 2017 depression crisis that forced production to halt on The Last Ship. The 2018 separation from Rebecca after 14 years of marriage. Private battles fought under the glare of public scrutiny. Then came the redemption. His breakthrough performance in Euphoria as the deeply flawed Cal Jacobs proved he was far more than McSteamy. He reconciled with Rebecca in a complicated, beautiful way that defied easy labels. And when ALS came for him, when he received the diagnosis that would kill him within a year, Eric turned his tragedy into advocacy. He raised over $500,000 for research. He testified before Congress. He was named Advocate of the Year. He made his death meaningful. His legacy isn't Grey's Anatomy, though that show made him famous. It isn't the video scandal, though that haunted him for years. Eric Dane's legacy is what he did with his final 10 months. He used his platform while his body failed him. One muscle at a time. He raised awareness for a disease that affects 30,000 Americans at any given time. He fought for others when he couldn't fight for himself. He showed the world that even when you're dying, even when you know you can't win, you can still choose how you go out. He was McSteamy, the charming doctor millions fell in love with. He was the addict who battled his demons publicly and honestly. He was the father who loved Billie and Georgia more than anything in the world. He was the advocate who made his death mean something. He was the man who, when given less than a year to live, chose to spend it fighting for people he'd never meet. That's not tragedy, that's legacy. This was Era Review, where we tell the whole story, the messy parts, the painful parts, the parts that made them human. If this story moved you, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new here, drop a comment and share your favorite Eric Dane moment. Eric Dane's fight is over, but his mission, the work he started, continues, and that's the best legacy anyone could ask for.